We have finally arrived to Infinity War, a movie that was 10 years in the making and teased all the way back in the first Avengers post-credit scene. And my god, it was worth the wait. I always thought it was strange, no, not that strange, that Marvel teased Thanos but opted for Ultron in the second Avengers movie. I now understand why. Thanos is the big bad and serves as the finale for the first story arc of the MCU. Infinity War was action-packed, exciting, heart-pounding fun, and nerve-wracking that I feared just how it would end. But don't worry, I'll try to keep this spoiler-free review as much as possible, and so far, we're doing pretty good. The purpose of the Avengers is to assemble Earth's mightiest heroes, but even that is not enough to confront Thanos and the Black Order. The Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther along with Wakanda are brought in hopes that they can stop Thanos. Unlike previous Avengers movies where the villain is given time to build up his threat, all of that is thrown out the window here, with Thanos showcasing just how powerful and much of a threat he is from the start. Thanos is even killing characters we thought were safe in the first 20 minutes of this movie. I was shocked and not gonna say who it was, but you know the stakes are high and this movie isn't playing around when they jump into it like that from the get-go. The fast pacing for this movie is a double-edged sword. It's almost a 3-hour movie, and they had a lot of characters to introduce and groundwork to cover, which the Russo brothers did a great job keeping the story focused and not bouncing all over the place. But the burden about having a large cast and having to incorporate all these characters means that not everyone is going to have a chance to shine. Sure, just about everyone gets like one shining moment, but that's about it. After that, they kind of fade off to the background. Which I get. The main characters are set up from the beginning, with a major focus and most screen time going to Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and the Guardians and Thor. I guess the best examples I can give of characters being cast to the side is one, Black Panther. Yeah, he gets some cool fight scenes and the big battle does happen on Wakanda, but they're not the primary focus. Which is understandable, he did have his own movie 2 months ago. I just thought he would be given more screen time or at least dialogue, given that the final battle does take place in Wakanda. Another character is Black Widow. Not that it's a big deal, but I would have liked to see more of her relationship with Bruce. He has been gone for a few years, and this is one of the more unique relationships that the MCU has provided, given that it does not happen at all in the comics. And while there was some acknowledgement, I didn't think it was enough. For me, at least. The good thing, though, is that there is a whole other movie coming, so maybe next year is when they'll fully address it more. One of my favorite things from this movie, though, is that they finally acknowledge the relationship between Scarlet Witch and Vision. And Scarlet Witch is a main player in this movie, which, you ask me, it's about time, because she's a really powerful character in the comics, and was mostly a side character in the Civil War and Age of Ultron movies. And after watching this movie, she is probably one of the Avengers' best chances at taking down Thanos. Because remember, back in Age of Ultron, she was given her powers by the Infinity Stone. Like previous Marvel movies, banter between heroes and the relationships built is what truly made this movie enjoyable. From Iron Man and Doctor Strange's egos battling it out, to Star-Lord feeling inferior to Thor's manly physique. Having all these characters come together and fight alongside one another seem like the pages of Marvel Comics have truly come to life. But 90s Marvel Comics, because the current ones are a god-awful mess. The unusual pairings worked out real well in Marvel's favor, and can maybe influence potential spin-offs in the future. I certainly wouldn't mind watching Thor, Rocket, and Groot go on more adventures together. Now, we get to the villains part of this review, and while Thanos is certainly the most dangerous and powerful villain the Avengers have ever faced, his motives for collecting the Infinity Stones felt weak. Yes, I can understand his reasons, which is about bringing balance to the universe. He believed there was too many people alive in the universe and not enough resources to go around. So with the Infinity Gauntlet, he can bring balance with the snap of his fingers. This isn't even a spoiler, so don't worry, but for me, that felt weak for a villain of Thanos' magnitude. Mostly because with the Infinity Gauntlet, he can create a vast infinity amount of resources. Pun intended. So why didn't he just do that? Why does he have to destroy half the universe? Again, there is another movie coming out, so maybe his motives will be more explored in that one, But until then, I can only judge him based from what I saw, and from what I saw, it wasn't that great. I understood it, but I just felt it wasn't that great. I guess I just wanted his reasons to destroy half the universe was to please the goddess of death. Well, unfortunately, that is not the case. I did have a theory about it, and I do want to talk about it, but I'm trying to keep this spoiler free. I guess I just wanted Thanos to have a more selfish reason. Not some zen thing about bringing balance. I tried to not compare him to his comic counterpart, but I just couldn't help it. He wasn't completely the Mad Titan I had read about in the comics. He was close to it in this movie, and while I understand it needs to be different iterations between media, I just felt that in this version he wasn't quite there. Maybe in the next movie he will fully become the Mad Titan? Who knows? While they did give him some backstory and try to get the audience to sympathize with him, which personally I couldn't, it just didn't feel genuine. I could understand his reasons again, but it just didn't feel genuine, more like he was lying to get what he wants. Still, he was a great villain, and Josh Brolin did an amazing job portraying Thanos' many sides and his determination to fulfill his quest. Thanos easily breaks into the top 3 of Marvel villains, the other 2 being Red Skull and Loki. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of the Black Order, who here is just tossed to the side and portrayed as more formidable henchmen if anything, which sucks. I was expecting more from them, especially with the hype built around Ebony Maw. I mean, these guys are just your run-of-the-mill, one-dimensional villains. In order to get my point across better, it's like the players who have the money to buy the cool skins on Fortnite or League, but not the necessary skills to do it justice. While in the beginning they are very formidable, but once more superheroes enter the fray is when they start to become more weak. I just thought the Black Order would get more love. I mean, they even made action figures of them. Before I wrap it up, I want to point out the flaws in this movie. And hopefully I built you guys up with so much hype that you won't come crashing down on me for pointing out the negatives. First, the CGI was not that great. I thought it would be a lot better given a movie of this magnitude, and it didn't look at all any better than from what was shown in the trailers. Even worse, Thanos looked really fake when he was grasping human characters. And it's not like you notice it if you focus on it. No, this was in the first 30 minutes of the movie and I'm just like, wow, that looks pretty fake. And I thought Marvel would do a much better job given how much flack Justice League got for Steppenwolf. There are parts in the movie where he does look better, but that's mostly because everything else around him is also CGI. And while it did take me out of the movies at times, it was noticeably bad. The times it was good, it was amazing and made for very astounding scenes. Also, the action scene sometimes was jarring and not very easy to follow. Maybe I'm just spoiled from what I saw in Winter Soldier, or the Amazons battle on the beach in Wonder Woman. Maybe the choreography team is different, but might also be just how heavy the special effects are in this movie too. Either way, it wasn't what I expected, it was still good, but I just had higher expectations given the action that was in Winter Soldier. Lastly, the deaths in this movie. I'm not gonna say who died, but let me just say the impact of them didn't feel the same knowing characters have upcoming movies taking place after Infinity War. And also because of the Time Stone. The Avengers can use that to bring back those who have fallen. There's plenty to love in Infinity War, with team-ups and hero combos and fights that will have fans of the movies and comics just squealing. Also, lots of surprise cameos and developments that are just fantastic nods, in my opinion, a celebration of Marvel Studios' 10 years. Infinity War gets a 9 out of 10 in my view, for bringing comics to life and just being a fun adventure. That's not over yet. It ended on a cliffhanger, folks. Think of this as Marvel's Empire Strikes Back. Hope you guys enjoyed and liked my review, and hope you're all doing good. This is Geeknight, signing off.